So, I was working on my Daredevil Born Again video, and I got sick and lost my voice. But I got it back. And as I was working on it, I saw a video was released alleging that I'm a disingenuous Spider-Man fanboy. All because I responded to Synthetic Man's nonsensically argued review of Marvel Spider-Man 2, where he tried arguing that it's woke propaganda for some really stupid reasons. Now, the irony in calling me a disingenuous Spider-Man fan for defending the game is amusing to me, considering I previously made an entire video on Marvel Spider-Man 2 and why the story is so poorly written. If I was truly motivated by fanboyism, why would I even make a longer video on why the game has bad writing? That doesn't really make any sense. This is not something that is properly addressed by the video that I'm about to respond to, despite this being concrete evidence to the contrary. This is a video that I plugged at the end of my response to Synthetic Man. But, okay, maybe this person conveniently missed it. Whatever. What about the intro to the video I made?
Let's look at the tape.
I think it's crazy how you can have a rushed and undercooked story like Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Got you, fuckface.
Sounds to me like I think the story is pretty bad, so how is it possible that my decision to defend the game is motivated by being a Spider-Man fanboy, let alone for this game?
What more do you want? For now! I tried to play ball with these ass clowns!
What makes the narrative fall apart even further is that there are many videos on my channel where I'm criticizing Spider-Man content. And sure, some of my videos are defenses or praises for Spider-Man content, but a lot of them provide criticism as well. You should watch them. So you see, the narrative here already isn't making any sense. There are clear differences between what I'm saying and what this person is alleging. So it's clear to me now that you are a liar.
You're a liar. You're a little kid who's a liar on the internet.
Why don't we take a look at this video? Let's see how much these arguments hold up to scrutiny. I'll put a black and white filter over the old footage just so it's clear when it's past me or present me talking. I think it's crazy how you can have a rushed and
You know what I think is crazy? How every single one of these people...
You know what I think is crazy? How you completely interrupted what I said, so it can't be heard in full clarity. Because that's the clip I played where I stated that the story is bad. Yet I'm being accused of being a fanboy of the game, and you claim that I'm the disingenuous one here.
Who defends Spider-Man is always a cuck. That's what I think is crazy. Like, seriously, what's with all these fucking... Like, is this guy black?
Oh, why should that matter when discussing the validity of my arguments? I never argued that race matters when making my counterpoints to Synthetic Man's criticisms. So what compels you to bring up race where it's completely irrelevant? It seems to me that it's displaying an inability to focus on a clearly articulated point.
What's with all these fucking, people, especially black, content creators, right? Who are making, like, Spider-Man their avatar, and, like, they're complete, like, Spider-Man cocksuckers.
You see what I mean? Claims like this get made, yet a single look at my channel would prove that I've criticized so many Spider-Man works. None of that is ever addressed by the video, mysteriously enough. But remember, guys, I'm the disingenuous one here.
Like seriously, what is up with this shit?
Undercooked story like Marvel Spider-Man 2, and still have people like Synthetic Man absolutely fail at criticizing it. It's fascinating what happens when your focus is on playing Count the Minorities.
You really are stupid, ain't you?
Instead of, the things that actually matter in storytelling. Synthetic Man argues that this—
I mean, it's hard not to count the minorities when the minorities are constantly shoved in your fucking face everywhere you look.
Incredible. I was asking for a valid story criticism that discusses things that actually matter. Your response to that is to not talk about the plot, the characters, anything that actually matters in assessing quality.
Like, you look left and then there's a black person. You look right and then there's like a Indian person.
Because black and Indian people exist in the real world. That is an accurate reflection of humanity. It's bad writing when something is perfectly logical in the universe. This is not a great start.
Interesting take, I like it. But yeah, no, sorry buddy. Way off on that one.
And then you look behind yourself, right? And then you see, two gay underage kids who are mixed race kissing behind you.
First of all, they're the same age. Neither of them are underage asking each other for a high school homecoming date, so I have no clue what you're talking about there. Second of all, gay people also exist in the world. It's propaganda that they're merely shown to exist. What's the propaganda element?
Like, you know, it's kind of hard not to, you know, see that, right? Like he's like, oh, bro, just close your eyes, bro. Don't look, don't pay attention to that. Like how am I not gonna pay attention to that?
I never said you shouldn't notice minorities in the background and just close your eyes. The clearly articulated point is that counting the minorities on screen shouldn't be the basis for criticism, because objectively speaking, it doesn't say anything about the functionality of the story. It doesn't outline a disjointed plot structure, any plot holes, badly developed characters, or anything that's actually reasonable to criticize a story for.
It's like if I were to go outside, right? And then there's like a gay guy doing it with another gay guy on the street. What, am I supposed to just look away?
You don't have to, but you can walk and move on like a regular person instead of counting them as if you're tallying up a set of problems. Also, you just acknowledged that they do exist in the real world, so you're proving my point that it's not propaganda to show that gay people merely exist.
Good job.
I mean, obviously I'm gonna look away eventually, but like it's hard not to notice it, you know?
This game is woke propaganda, which implies that it shares misleading or wrong ideas, so I look forward to the examples that he's going to use.
Now, reviewing this game is going to be difficult because I am so...
Hey, bro, look at that. How am I supposed to not, like, how am I not supposed to avoid that? Like, we have two underage kids, which, you know, they're literally in high school, right? They're underage. One is literally of, you know, the African-American descent, right? The brother descent, the we was Kang's descent, right? And the other guy is like a white guy, and they're like in love. How am I supposed to avoid that?
Again, this is a straw man. Nobody said it's bad to notice details about someone's identity. The problem is when it's illogically used as a basis for criticism. I like how you can't properly refute the point that I'm making here, so you have to lie about what I actually said. But remember guys, I'm the disingenuous one here.
utterly frustrated and tired with
And they're holding hands, and you're forced to watch it.
Oh no, sorry that offends you I guess.
all of the political virtue signaling that is in modern...
Just avoid it, though. Just avoid it. What a fucking idiot.
Ironic, coming from the person who publicly indicated an inability to track a very simple point.
You know exactly why already, so it's gonna be hard to actually try to give this a fair review because this game really pissed me off.
So, from the footage I'm gathering, he admits it's harder for him to be objective about this game because of gay people and people of color. I see we're off to a great start with this.
We're off to a great start with this video.
I mean, I'll give Synthetic Man this. His introduction wasn't as bad as yours.
Why is it always white people getting offended on the behalf of another race? Can somebody please tell me that? Like, why?
Well, first of all, I'm not white. Second of all, even if I was, that wouldn't change whether or not my arguments make sense. What does race have to do with the functionality of an argument? I mean, that's essentially the same point I'm making in the original video. What do the races or orientations of the background characters have anything to do with the functionality of the story?
Why is it always white people being complete and utter fucking cucks? Like, bro, you don't have to be offended on Tyrone's behalf, little bro.
I didn't realize that pointing out someone's illogical anger towards a game is taking offense to what's being said. Personally, I had a great time watching Synthetic Man's video. Not because of its quality or anything, it's objectively a garbage fire in terms of consistency and reasoning, but because of the nature of the nonsensical arguments he's making, which he'd either have to be a true nutcase or a troll to be making. But seeing that you're willing to argue in favor of his bad points, I guess I'll have someone else to laugh at as well.
You might have thought that I was reaching on some of my points with God of War Ragnarok's story, and I'll admit I was barely paying attention half the time because that game was so unbelievably boring.
So, can you stop throwing things in your intro that immediately reduce your credibility? Because
How is that reducing his credibility?
Hello? Anybody home?
Because his response to people claiming that he was reaching on some of his points against God of War Ragnarok's story was to say that he was barely paying attention half the time. That's not an excuse to get facts wrong about what you're reviewing. It's a clear sign of bad critic practice. So when you open your video saying you've done this, your credibility gets put into question. You don't see how that might affect his credibility here?
What? What are you, stupid? What are you talking about?
You know what's reducing your credibility? Having this shitty fucking Spider-Man meme on like the right side, you know, the right corner of the screen. This is what's reducing the credibility right here. Like, why does this even need to be here? Like, it's not even animated. Like, you couldn't even, like, been bothered to, like, animate it. Like, all you have to do is go into, like, DaVinci or whatever you're using, Premiere, or, you know, Vegas. You just go into the editing section, you type in the, what's it called, the bounce or whatever. You plop that onto it, and it'll make it, like, you know, move up and down. Like, it's literally, like, 2 clicks, you lazy piece of shit.
This is an incredible tangent coming from the person person who's only editing on said tangent was to pause the video and move the cursor a bit with 1 moment of text on screen. I'm at least providing something engaging to look at, because background gameplay can be engaging to look at. What exactly are you proving here? Who's really the lazy one in this scenario? Is it me, or is it the person who was too lazy to figure out how claiming you made a game review without fully paying attention to the game can reduce your credibility?
This guy's whole channel is him debunking people. Bro, he isn't debunking anything. What's he debunking?
I'm debunking nonsensical talking points, and your responses here only go to show that they're not defensible when put under scrutiny. Meanwhile, you've strawmanned what I've said and made unfounded claims that are contradicted in the content you're responding to. Like, you can't make this up.
Calling another person racist? That's not debunking somebody.
Well, first of all, I didn't even call him a racist at any point in this video, which of course includes the parts that have been responded to by this point. Take a look at my script here. Did I use the word racist at any point? All I did was describe his behavior in the video as is. He played count the minorities. Fact. Your response to this was saying it's hard not to count the minorities when they're shoved into your face. I said that he highlighted gay people and people of color as a reason for why he finds it more difficult to be objective about the game. Fact. You yourself said that these minorities were being shoved into your face. So you share his sentiment towards the game that I've addressed here, which was not by calling him a racist, but by simply describing his exact behavior and explaining why it's illogical. And your response to that is to say that I'm calling it racist because I described the exact things he did that you seem to agree with? Are you telling us that you find these things racist? Because it sounds like that's the case when all you heard from me was a description of his actions, and your immediate thought was to categorize that as racist behavior? Now, either you have a serious literacy issue, you're hallucinating, or you've displayed a Freudian slip in real time. Hard to tell. Now, as for why Synthetic Man says what he says, that was never a focal point of my rebuttal. I don't care what his motivation is for making these stupid points, because at the end of the day, they're stupid points, and that's what I aim to prove. You have not given a single meaningful defense for them, and as soon as I described his exact behavior without claiming a direct motivation, your response was to say that I was accusing him of racism. That's interesting to me. Harmful to yourself. Establishing that you didn't pay attention to what you're reviewing is a terrible look. It's funny how you play the clip of me explaining how he reduced his credibility immediately after asking me how he reduced his credibility.
Cause hot damn, you wanna know what's a scam? Your fucking education, nigga. That's what the scam is.
But Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 is not just almost as equally boring as God of War, but also twice as woke, undeniably so. It'll be interesting to see the usual suspects try to pretend that this isn't clear
Wait, is this Spider-Man or is this Last of Us?
political propaganda being shoved down our throat.
You're saying...
Is that actually Spider-Man? I don't remember.
So you don't remember the game, but you're trying to counter me addressing these cutscenes and why they don't support the point that he's making. Well, thanks for admitting to us that you came unprepared to discuss why I'm supposedly wrong here.
Good job.
I mean, I never played either, so I don't know. It's Spider-Man. Is that Mary Jane? Who is that? Who the fuck is that woman?
Pretend that this is
Yeah, that fucking 90-pound woman is definitely gonna beat the shit out of this man.
Both of them are trained hunters. They're meant to be some of the best fighters in the world, but if someone is tactically superior, then they can win the fight. And this isn't just a female character thing. Kraven managed to beat Scorpion, Electro, Vulture, Sandman, and Shocker when they had superior powers or technology. Kraven is simply the better strategist, which can be pivotal to a fight even if you're at a disadvantage.
Definitely. Bro, like her arms are literally toothpicks. Yeah, she's somehow beating the shit out of this guy. It's not woke though, remember?
Kinda like how Spider-Man's arms are way skinnier than Rhino's, yet he's able to beat him over and over again. They even have a line to address this in the first game.
Well, you can't just go swinging at someone twice your size. I mean, don't get me wrong. I fight guys stronger than me all the time, but when I do it, I have...
Oh, like that time you fought Rhino on the Brooklyn Bridge? That was so awesome.
Perfect example. If the other guy's bigger, you gotta be quicker.
Bro, like her arms are literally toothpicks. Yeah, she's somehow beating the shit out of this guy. It's not woke though, remember?
First thing, don't let the adrenaline get to you. Breathe slow, breathe deep, relax. Hip square to your opponent. Let them make the first move. Now use your feet, and when they go off balance, look for an opening. Boom.
Like that?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, not only this time, just let me have it. Right on the jaw, okay? I can...
Oh, sorry.
No. It's all good. You keep that up and, you'll be fine.
Hip squared. What the hell's he saying?
Not gonna be saying anything in a second.
I Am I the only one who did the reading?
Political propaganda being shoved down our throat.
You're saying all of that just because a woman beat a man in a fight?
Bro, look at her. Bro, she isn't gonna beat anybody up. Look at that fucking body.
Look at her body? What kind of argument is that? Guys, look at Venom's body. There's no way Spider-Man can win. Guys, look at Sandman's body. There's no way Spider-Man can win. Guys, look at Colonel Jupiter's body. There's no way Spider-Man can win. It's almost as if strategy can be pivotal in spite of physical disadvantages.
Pretend that this isn't clear political propaganda being shoved down our throat.
You're saying all of that just because a woman beat a man in a fight?
There's a lot of story-based side quests in this game that are tagged with the superhero app that this fat Asian kid named Genki made for you. I never played the Miles Morales game for obvious reasons.
Well, maybe you should either play or at least catch up with the story before trying to break down this story.
Nobody played that game to begin with. That game sold poorly, didn't it?
Remember, this doofus accused me of not actually making rebuttals that debunk what's being said. Meanwhile, I bring up a simple point that I think you should catch up to relevant material to properly understand a continuation of said material, and your response to that is nobody played the game to begin with?
Are you stupid?
That somehow defeats the argument of telling someone to do their own research? Oh, but I'm the one who's disingenuous. I'm the idiot here. It's really showing in these counterpoints that you're making, for obvious reasons.
So I had no idea who the fuck this kid is, and I really don't care if he's been featured in the comics. He's a lame character. I don't like
That is true. Nobody cares about him.
him. Spider-Man is a genius. He can make his own fucking gadgets, okay?
It's not within Peter's character to just refuse help when saving the city. This was a very specific arc that he had in the first game that focuses on the fact that he's still one man who can't do everything himself. How exactly does it take away from his character to show that he's building a team of allies?
And then, the quest all of you were waiting for me.
Because he doesn't need fucking allies. He's Spider-Man. Why the fuck would he need allies?
Because being Spider-Man doesn't mean you're limitless. He can't be everywhere all the time. He doesn't have the same investigative skills as MJ, and he's not a reporter. He can't constantly monitor or aid Feast, so he relies on Miles and Aunt May to look after the shelter and to be his eyes and ears when he can't stick around then. I mean, do you think it's more responsible for Peter to reject help? Is it better for the city if he didn't work with the people in the city? That's just nonsensical and demonstrates that you really don't understand the character, or just common sense in general, to be honest.
To talk about where you help a gay kid ask this dude out to homecoming. Spider-Man is
Who's underage, by the way? Who's underage?
They're the same age. Like, are you stupid?
wasting his fucking time helping some gay kid ask out another gay kid. Are you fucking kidding me?
How is Spider-Man wasting time in this cutscene? Spider-Man is willing to spend some time helping people, even for very small-scale stuff.
This guy's actually an idiot.
Why? Because I understand Spider-Man on a basic level and you don't?
Yeah, this is what Spider-Man needs. Instead of, saving the city, he has to make sure that the gay homosexual kid gets to go out with his BIPOC, lover.
There's no fight or direct threat against the city when that happens. Miles has the time to spare to help someone on a small scale. That's a bad concept now because somewhere in the world there might be something going on. That's just impractical and stupid. By this logic, Peter shouldn't be allowed to go to parties. He shouldn't be allowed to go to any social gathering for that matter, because he should just be Spider-Man 24/7, right? He shouldn't have a personal life at all. He should just be out there looking for bad guys all the time, because apparently having a balanced life is just not allowed anymore. You'd have a point if Miles was ignoring an active threat, but that's not the point being made here. It's funny because there's actual examples of problems in the story where Miles is not being responsible and not focusing on his priorities, yet instead of talking about that, you fixate on an example that doesn't apply. How is Spider-Man wasting time in this cutscene? Spider-Man is willing to spend some time helping people, even for very small-scale stuff, hence why he's called your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, I'm fine with criticizing—
But that doesn't mean he needs to literally do minute fucking bullshit tasks, like help somebody ask out his gay lover.
He doesn't have to, but he can choose to out of kindness. That's a bad thing? I guess it's bad when Spider-Man gives someone directions on the street. It's bad that he does a flip for a guy because he wanted him to. If Spider-Man is not allowed to do anything helpful on a small scale, then how is he the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? You're advocating for him to lack a connection with the neighborhood.
It's like saying, oh, Spider-Man has to come to my house and do my dishes as well because he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man has to also come to my house and take out the trash as well. Like, what kind of dumbass argument is this? this.
There's a world of difference between helping someone because they're struggling with something, even if it's to a small scale, versus doing their chores for them because they're lazy.
Bro, Spider-Man has to come over to my house to help me tie my shoes. Bro, Spider-Man also has to come over to my house to, you know, clean up my room because he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, this is gonna be the most retarded argument I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I've seen everything you've said in this video.
This is what I'm talking about. This is how you know it's propaganda. They're shoving it down your fucking throat.
So I'm curious, would you still say that this is propaganda if Miles did the same thing with a straight couple? I wouldn't, considering this doesn't feed any misleading or bad information. It's just Spider-Man helping out in a small-scale manner. There's nothing misleading.
No, because it wouldn't be fucking propaganda at that point, you dumb fuck. If it was a straight couple, it wouldn't be propaganda, correct? It would still be a waste of time. Yeah, exactly.
So it's propaganda to show a gay couple in a video game, but it's not propaganda to show a straight couple in a video game. You're displaying double standards here. So what's the difference between that and if the couple was gay? What's the propaganda?
Yeah, like Schizo Shrimp says, it's propaganda normalizing the gay. Because, you know, one is normalizing something, the other isn't. Like, straightness is not like, straightness is like natural. Being gay is not.
Show the proof that being gay is unnatural right now. If you can't show proof of this, spoiler alert, it's not in the video, then your claim remains unsubstantiated.
Yeah, I love this. I love how she speaks in the emojis. Oh my god, it's the stupidest shit ever. Like, why do you even have to play as her in the first place? Like, I guarantee you the only reason you had to play as her is because she's black. That's the only fucking reason.
Or because the developers found it interesting to try navigating the game as a deaf character because it changes the experience. Now, that's not to say that I'm defending the game design here. I don't know why I'd want to play this in a Spider-Man game. However, claiming they only have these missions because she's black is unsupported.
Not to mention this game was you know, made by Sweet Baby. Sony did and then Insomniac did get Sweet Baby to like help them make this game.
Sweet Baby Inc. didn't make the game. The only parts they were consulted on were unrelated to the gameplay, which was story consultation. At least verify the facts before claiming they made the game.
They can read, but they think in emotes. It's so woke, it circles back around to being like racist, sexist, ableist, whatever, you know.
I'm so lost here. The emotes are simply there to reflect her thoughts and emotions that they can't always do through dialogue, which is more appealing than simply dropping
more appealing. What is appealing about that? What the fuck is appealing about that?
Text to reflect her thoughts. So notice how you cut me off before I directly explained that the emotes would be more appealing than text to represent the character's thoughts, only to unpause and show where I'm saying that, which counters Synthetic Man's reading of the game, claiming that the game thinks that deaf people only think in emojis. That's obviously not true when she's using sign language, which is built on an understanding of words. Now you could say that they should be more creative by relying on body and facial movements, but that alone doesn't make it propaganda.
But of course, about halfway through...
Oh look, another counterpoint that doesn't get addressed, despite accusing me earlier of not debunking anything.
They have to virtue signal to you and throw in a mural saying how great BIPOC artists are and we all need to stick together. Because, you know, women think all minorities are the same, apparently.
The phrase birds of a feather doesn't mean they're the exact same. It simply refers to people with similarities, such as backgrounds or struggles. That's all this message is saying. So how is that in itself propaganda?
Because it says BIPOC.
That doesn't refute my counterpoint, which was that the message on the wall was about sticking together, not that all minorities are the same. So proof that writing that at all implies the propaganda that Synthetic Man is claiming.
And you might wonder why I'm singling out women. Well, the lead writer of this game was a woman.
So you just accused women in general of thinking minorities are the same, and your reasoning is that the writer is a woman. You don't see the irony in that statement.
Cause hot damn, you wanna know what's a scam? Your fucking education, nigga. That's.
Bro, is he really using the Amazing Lucas, the biggest grifter on like fucking YouTube?
No counterpoint. All you can say is that I used an Amazing Lucas clip, and you have the gall to accuse me of not debunking anything? Now that's beyond ironic and hilarious.
Does this guy actually watch Amazing Lucas? I would not be surprised.
Damn, you wanna know what's
This guy definitely appeals to like the lowest of low IQ motherfuckers.
Yeah, you see what I mean? There's no counter to what I said. All you can point out is that I used a clip from someone who offers hilarious reaction clips.
And not long afterward, you go to some African art section of the city, and there's a whole other side quest line about retrieving stolen instruments from this black art
Oh shit, it's reloaded again.
museum. My god, this game is full of shit like this, dude.
Where is the propaganda?
Bro, if this, okay, this is the question then. If that's not propaganda, what is? Like, I love how this dumb piece of shit, like, never explains what propaganda is.
I literally did at the start of the video. Did you watch it? Synthetic Man argues that this game is woke propaganda, which implies that it shares misleading or wrong ideas.
Am I the only one who did the reading?
In case you need a dictionary, here's the definition that aligns with how I describe the term, like how it talks about something being misleading or biased in order to promote a cause.
Okay, so if that's not propaganda, then what is propaganda?
Like I said earlier, something that's misleading and therefore wrong. You've not presented anything of that nature from the game. That specific museums meant to represent specific parts of history exist? That's propaganda to you?
Yes.
Okay, then I don't know what to tell you. You're stupid because museums actually do that. They often have specific focuses within history. You keep making these claims but fail to present any—
Well, you keep making no claims.
Oh, I'm the one who's not making any claims, even though I provided numerous counterpoints to things that he was saying, some of which we have on record of you ignoring and not addressing, despite the claim that I didn't debunk anything. Clear evidence or reasoning to support them.
This is actually part of the main story, but you meet a scientist chick who has the non-binary flag and the monkeypox flag
This is like the wokest game of all.
on her desk. There's a pawn shop with the Ukraine flag on the inside, which this is the fucking comic books. This is exactly why I made those two Escapism is Dead videos, because modern developers will not let you escape reality. You must support the current thing.
So, this is an accurate depiction of reality, which means it's not propaganda. Are we just not allowed to have anything that can be remotely tied to the real world? Did we have this problem when the American flag was constantly in Spider-Man media? Or when—
No, because the game takes place in America, you fucking idiot. What?
You seem to be stumbling at the end there, so let me give you a hand. Other flags can still be found in America. If the American flag is acceptable because the films take place in America, then so can pride flags or foreign flags because America, especially New York, can have people of different identities and nationalities. This is an impressively weak counter. Oh, but let me guess. I'm the idiot here who's being disingenuous.
You must support the current thing.
It's like when you think this guy like couldn't say anything stupider, like he says something even more stupid.
I could say the same about you, but the difference is that my claims have validity and evidence to support them, and common sense as well. You don't, however. Are we just not allowed to have anything that can be remotely tied to the real world? Did we have this problem when the
No, because it takes place in America, you fucking idiot. Like, are you actually this retarded?
Hey, you know where this photo was taken? The photo was taken at the Rockefeller Center in New York City. You know, the city that Spider-Man is in. This is a photo at the same location, but taken at a different time. This one I got from June 2024. Again, the same city that Spider-Man's in. But let's see the next batch of cope you provide us. American flag was constantly in Spider-Man media? Or when real holidays like Halloween, Thanksgiving, New Year's?
Feliz Navidad! Happy Hanukkah! Kwanzaa! Solstice! Can't we put our differences aside for one night?
Wow, Spectacular Spider-Man is woke propaganda because it's trying to be inclusive for the other holidays.
The more minor complaint.
Huh, you skipped over that part as well. Was it too much for you to show that Spider-Man media has a pattern of representing human culture?
All things considered, but this Danica podcast with this purple hair feminist chick is so cringy and unbelievable. It's like the writers fundamentally don't understand what makes podcasts like Joe Rogan popular, and so they have this harmless, sterilized, likely self-insert character who gives the most safe, politically correct opinions on shit that's going on.
Not everyone runs a Joe Rogan type podcast. Also, in a world where two Spider-Men exist and are idolized by the public, why would someone covering them positively not get any attention? Especially since she literally had—
Because there's probably going to be a million covering them positively. Like, what?
Okay, well, there's also millions of people who cover popular movies, games, and whatever's coming out. That does not change the fact that brands can get attention off covering these things. It's almost as if so many people talking about Spider-Man is something that news organizations or talk shows can rely on. Debate with J. Jonah Jameson, so she has direct competition. Last I checked, debates tend to keep viewers invested in watching podcasts.
I mean, J. Jonah Jameson's podcast would be 10 times more popular in reality.
Oh wow, another counterpoint that I made that you failed to address despite claiming that I didn't debunk anything.
Even if you don't agree with what he's saying, which a lot of the times what he's saying is absolutely correct.
Inflation through the roof, feckless government officials, and a country on the brink of a collapse not seen since the fall of the Roman Empire.
He just sounds way more interesting. He's actually giving a real opinion. He's enthusiastic. Danica is a face for radio, and she's boring as shit. There's no way anyone would ever listen to her.
Boring is a subjective qualifier. I don't care if you find her boring. This doesn't mean that—
I don't care if you find her boring, I actually like her.
The counter isn't I actually like her. The counter is that people could find her interesting, because they can, when she's literally pushing back against a big organization that slanders Spider-Man. But of course you're not gonna address this point because you don't have a counter to it.
Like, she's not gonna get in bed with you, little bro. She's a fictional character.
I can say the same about you and Synthetic Man, but I might get accused of spreading woke propaganda for insinuating that nobody would listen to her. You need to actually cite recordings that the viewers wouldn't find interesting in this world, but you don't actually do this.
Okay, I think I've stalled enough. Let's finally talk about the main story.
Oh, look at that. Another counterpoint you've just glossed over and didn't address, despite claiming that I didn't debunk anything.
Now, this story was a bit of a convoluted mess. So much so that just 2 days after finishing it, which is the time I'm recording this, I basically already...
And I love how the professor is a bald black woman. A bald black queen. Again, the game isn't woke, though.
What did this prove exactly? That someone had a hairstyle you didn't like? That's it? What's the propaganda in having a hairstyle you don't like? You see, this is precisely why I can't take the anti-woke crowd seriously, because a lot of the talking points are just nonsense like this. Nothing based on any form of consistency or logic. It's just someone getting mad when someone else proves that these points don't hold up to scrutiny.
Gotten 80% of it, and I had to go back...
And then we have an Asian woman in the background, you know, doing sign language for the black woman.
Oh no, an Asian interpreter exists? That's propaganda to you? These are the arguments I'm supposed to be taking seriously?
Through my footage just to create this synopsis, which is really not a sign of a good story, and I promise you I actually tried to pay attention this time, unlike with God of War Ragnarok where I was looking at chat for probably half the game, because once again, that game was boring as fuck.
I don't think it's the fault of the game that you were unable to create a synopsis of it after your first playthrough. It wasn't an issue for me when I went through the game's story, and I don't even think the story is good. I think it's really bad, but you're also bad at criticizing it. Oh right, I do show my video in my response. I guess this part just slipped through and this person forgot how game-changing this information is to the narrative presented in the title and description.
You're a liar.
Gotcha, fuckface.
So the story
And he provides zero counter arguments for anything.
Oh, I provide zero counter arguments for anything. Even though many times in this response, you would play a counter that I make, yet provide no response to it after playing it, despite claiming that I haven't debunked anything. Someone is watching this right now and has to be counting. How many times have I pointed this out? If you're counting, be sure to keep count because I'm sure it's going to stack up.
begins with Sandman attacking the city. Why has he attacked the city? I guess his brain is scrambled. That's pretty much as far as it goes. It's explained later that he was being chased by Kraven, but Sandman, a guy who's made of fucking sand, is afraid of some random Russian hunter guy who has a magic potion that makes him somewhat stronger than a normal person.
Kraven has an army and can make use of weaknesses to sand. The game even shows Kraven exploiting the symbiote's weakness to sound to his advantage, so why not assume he did the same to Sandman's weaknesses?
Now, of course, because we needed a new villain faction in this game...
Ah, you see? There it is again. Synthetic Man makes an argument, I counter it very easily, and my counter doesn't get a response, and this video simply moves on. But remember, I'm the one who provided zero counter arguments. I'm the one who's being disingenuous.
Kraven also has 1,000 fucking goons working for him. I mean, seriously, why does he have so many badass hunters that are full of women and people?
What the fuck was that?
Why does he have so many badass hunters?
Bro, how many bald fucking black women are in this game?
Full of...
Bro, is that a woman? Is that it looks like Deborah Wilson. Look, her fucking eyes are like bulging the fuck out of her head. God, that thing is fucking disgusting.
And people of color. I mean, this is the most diverse group of villains I've ever seen in any video.
I mean, at least it's like, you know, accurate to like reality. Because, you know, typically in reality, these people would be committing the most amount of crimes, so it does make sense that most of the criminals in the game are of color, so I guess I can give them a pass on that one.
Yo, game.
Well, given that Kraven is willing to travel throughout the world to hunt, he would come across a diverse set of people throughout the world. Seriously, there are actual things to criticize about the story, and you're focused on counting the women and minorities?
because they constantly put them in your face and you literally can't ignore them.
I think you're the one failing to come up with counter-arguments. He just questioned the story because Kraven's army has women and minorities in it. I explained very clearly that he gathers hunters throughout the world, and not just in one country, and your response is that their existence is shoved into your face? So a reflection of the reality that humans can be diverse is propaganda. That's what you call bad writing?
Oh, that's stupid.
I mean, you can't ignore them if you're this guy, because you've accepted it as normal.
Oh no, the horror. You gonna make a real argument now?
But everybody else, obviously, no, they can't ignore it.
I don't think it's normal to complain about a background character with a minute of screen time being Asian, but okay.
Spider-Man comes across some gun goons who are the least diverse enemy group in the game. They are not only mostly white, but they are pretty much all men, and they're jacked.
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
All you're doing is playing Count the Minorities. That's not compelling criticism. It's very weird criticism at best. There it is again. Cuts me off after one statement, doesn't address my elaboration as to how this isn't even story criticism.
Which just made me like them more and want to be part of their club. But we get a little piece of subtle propaganda in there.
I think I'm gonna start a petition. Replace all the gun clubs with something better.
You're right. Revoke the Second Amendment, Spider-Man. I agree.
Because we should totally accept on-the-spot quips as definitive political opinions. This isn't advocating for people to not—
Well, I mean, it is when the entire game is like this.
This is pretty standard cope, you'll get used to it. Watch this. My older video will play a clip what's being said, and it won't be addressed. Have means of defending themselves. MJ literally has a sable gun for self—
Oh my, I forgot how ugly she was.
See, what'd I tell you? Self-defense. You'd think Peter would have an issue with that if we're to accept your straw man for his character, but he doesn't, so you're just spewing nonsense out of nowhere.
Now, I know people are going to debate this point whether or not it's actually woke, but honestly, I don't care.
Oh, look at that. Another moment where I make a clear counterpoint to Synthetic Man, and it gets glossed over with zero response. I told you we'd find more of these.
There's much bigger fish to fry here. At the end of this mission, we end up rescuing J. Jonah Jameson, and he is one of the very few based characters in this game, though obviously unintentionally, as he's just meant to be a right-wing caricature, which is actually hilarious because he's almost always correct.
And Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, has been found dead. His stinger removed like a trophy. One can only assume this was at the hands of the Hunter. Are they doing what the ineffectual Spider-Men won't and removing these dangers permanently?
So Jameson is correct because he's siding with the murderous hunters who do this for sport?
And shortly after this, we get to meet Miles' friends.
Oh, look at that. You already know what I'm gonna say, but I've gotta rub it in anyway. Another moment where I make a clear counterpoint to Synthetic Man, but it gets glossed over with no response.
Fat Asian kid Genki and his deaf girlfriend. This is just fucking cringe, man. I got nothing to say about it, really.
Then I have nothing to say in response, because you've put zero effort into criticizing their character writing.
Mary Jane, more like man.
Oh my god, remember, she's supposed to be like a supermodel, right?
Look at that! I highlight how Synthetic Man fails to elaborate on his claim, and instead of responding to it, my response gets glossed over yet again.
What her face used to look like in the old game, and this is what her model actually looks like, okay? Now here's the big twist. This is what the lead writer for this game looks like. Oh yeah, that's not a coincidence. Mary Jane is 100% a self-insert in this game, and that becomes very obvious near the end, but we'll get to that later.
So this is just blatant misinformation? The writing intern had to come out and state this is false. There aren't any facial scans of this writer at all. She worked remotely as a writing intern, not the lead writer. The actual face—
Well, how do we know she's not lying?
Because I just showed a screenshot of an actual actor who did the face scans. It's right there on screen. Model was at Insomniac Games and did the face modeling herself. What on earth?
Okay, then why'd they change it so much, and why does the model in the game look so much like the writer does?
I already disputed this. It's not the writer. This is a writing intern who worked remotely. I don't even know why they'd go this far just to have a writing intern pretend to do the face modeling. Like, that makes no sense. They probably just did a bad job adapting the older face into the new game, so it doesn't look as consistent. That doesn't prove the writing intern literally did a facial scan for them. This is a nonsensical claim with no evidence to back it. This would be just as absurd as claiming Tom Holland was the face model for the remastered game because it looks similar, which some people apparently thought at the time.
I mean, it does look similar, and I'm pretty sure It's not just because of coincidence.
That doesn't mean he was the face model. That's my point if you bothered to track it.
How many gay jokes are in this fucking game?
What? What are you, stupid?
Why does he keep using fucking Amazing Lucas?
Because he's hilarious.
Like, this guy's an idiot. This guy's like one of the biggest fucking idiots like on YouTube.
Really? Because he doesn't come close to you.
So in our next mission are two Spider-Men, and yes, they call each other Spider-Man. Gee, I'm sure that wouldn't be confusing at all to the public, especially when one sounds black and is clearly wearing a different costume.
For one, I don't know how you can hear color, but do enlighten me
What the
as-
fuck do you mean, how can you hear color?
I don't know, you did just accuse me of being white earlier when that's not even true, so it sounds to me like you're struggling to hear color. For one,
Bro, this is like the most disingenuous motherfucker ever.
This is coming from the person who claimed that I was a Marvel Spider-Man 2 fanboy, despite watching the video where I make it clear that I think the story is bad.
Like, bro, if somebody's like, man, shit, man, hold up, man, fuck this shit. Like, bro, you're not gonna be like, oh, that's not a black guy.
Well, seeing that you've just established that anyone can put on a voice, you've also established that this isn't a reliable method to determine someone's skin color.
Hey, shut the fuck up, bro. Because black people have a distinctive accent. Yeah, isn't that also just kind of racist to say that, like, all people sound the same?
Where did I say that all people sound the same? Just now, you implied that you can tell someone is black by how they sound. All I've ever said is that you can't hear color, because you can't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have assumed I was white earlier. I guess by your logic, you're racist to white people, which you very well could be. Who knows at this point?
Like, if you really do think about it, isn't that, like, actually racist? So, like, isn't this guy, like, the actual racist here? Saying that all people sound the same and nobody has, like, you know, different dialects or different accents or different, you know, ways of speaking.
I never said nobody has different accents or ways of speaking. I said that you can't hear color because you can't.
Like, this guy seems like the racist to me, to be honest. Like, this guy genuinely, I genuinely think this guy's a racist, I'll be honest.
Then you're a very stupid person, and I don't know what to tell you. Don't know how you can hear color, but do enlighten me as to how. Second of all, there's nothing difficult.
You can enlighten yourself by, you know, opening up your ears.
I mean, you tried that and you thought I was white, so I'm good with dismissing your advice. Specifying the first or second Spider-Man if you have to. How do you think we distinguished between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's version?
Because they're different fucking movies, you idiot. They don't even take place in the same fucking universe. They're like completely different fucking timelines.
Yeah, that doesn't really answer my question. My question was how did we distinguish between the two versions, not the characters in their universes. If we can do so in the real world, then they can do it in the game.
They're completely different timelines. What do you mean? It's like what? This guy genuinely makes my head hurt. I mean, well, he's genuinely a retard.
It's funny you say that because they literally do have Tobey and Andrew crossover into the MCU, and there's a very simple method of distinguishing them.
Okay, Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 2, Peter 3. Peter 3.
Even if you didn't know the names of the actors, you can simply say the first movie Spider-Man, or the second movie Spider-Man, or the reboot movie.
Bro, they don't take place in the same movie though, you idiot.
First of all, dumbass, they do in one of the movies. Second of all, that doesn't matter to my point. Are you even tracking?
Hello? Anybody home?
They don't have to be in separate timelines in order for me to say that one is the first version and one is the second version. People in the universe can say this. They literally do this in the Miles game.
Hey, you think you're gonna add that new Spider-Man too? The kid? Yeah, maybe. Original's just my guy, you know?
This is a completely different movie than this one. They're not in the same universe. They're different movies. The two Spider-Men in the game, right? Miles Morales and fucking Peter Parker and Spider-Man 2. They take place in the same game. They're in the same universe. Like, bro, this is like sub fucking 60 IQ right here.
This is coming from someone who didn't understand a basic question. Spider-Man.
Kraven was certainly one of the only good characters in this game, even if I don't really like the idea of him having 1,000 minions. I mean, where's the sport in hunting this ultimate prey if you have an entire army capturing them for you to fight them in single combat?
It's called hunting in packs. Also, Kraven himself is doing the main encounters. Kraven having an army simply enables him to design these battles for himself.
And you would think with Miles Morales being Peter Parker's student...
Oh look, another counterpoint that I made that doesn't get addressed, despite claiming that I didn't debunk anything.
Protege, apprentice, whatever you want to call it, that maybe Peter would help him forgive Martin Lee, or maybe at least resist the urge to kill him. Nope. Miles does this all on his own. In fact, Miles takes care of all of his problems on his own.
So, there's a small...
Because he's a strong, independent black man.
Point to what he says, but he doesn't go that direction, so there's not much credit to give. In canon, yes, Peter should have stepped in and said more to Miles to sway him away from killing Martin Lee. It's important to remember that Martin Lee was his friend at Feast, and Peter was committed to bringing him back into the light, so you'd expect even more investment in getting Miles to not want to kill him. However, Synthetic Man doesn't say anything this elaborate. He just complains that Miles can be independent in his decision-making or achieving his own payoffs, which isn't inherently an issue. If anything, that gives him more agency.
But not just his,
Another counterpoint of mine that doesn't get addressed, despite claiming that I didn't debunk anything.
but also Peter's problems, and people say he's not meant to be a replacement. Well, this game basically straight up
I mean, why does he even exist in the first place? Like, if he's not meant to be a replacement, why does he exist in the fucking first place?
To show how Spider-Man can evolve into a legacy, and how Peter can evolve into a mentor figure for a superhero like himself. It also tells the story as to how a kid can struggle to live up to a legend. You can easily find the point if you know, pay attention to the writing.
tells you that he should replace Spider-Man. So you're just fucking lying to yourself, and it's an embarrassing lie.
He doesn't replace Spider-Man, Peter simply took a break.
He does replace him. You're literally playing as him, like, what, through half the game?
So playing as another character for half the game is a replacement now, even though you can switch to either character? Do you know what a replacement is? Do you speak English? And we know he doesn't quit because we literally see him in Across the Spider-Verse, which is after this game, so you're just flat out wrong.
Oh, they're just putting him in there just to be like, oh, look, he still exists.
So he wasn't replaced. Thank you for supporting my point.
Now, I hope you enjoyed that mission, because the next one is another walking simulator one. Hooray! At the Emily May Foundation, where they shove another environmentalist message into your head.
So it's propaganda that Spider-Man wants to protect the planet and is on board with the Emily May
Oh my god, man.
Oh my god, man, is not a counterpoint. That reason? You keep saying that things are propaganda, and at best, you highlight messages that exist, but fail to outline what's bad or misleading about them. Now, to give an example, it's also sending a message to talk about Spider-Man's responsibility to the city, or his beliefs in redemption over killing. These are messages the story pushes, but that's not propaganda. You can't say things are propaganda and just show me messages. Give us meaningful details about why these messages are harmful or misleading. Talk about the actual execution of these themes.
Apparently now she's a lesbian.
Oh, look, another elaborate point that I make that ends up being ignored, despite the claim that I didn't debunk anything.
Miles ain't never replacing Spider-Man. Did you all see his second cameo in Across the Universe, dog? Yeah. He showed up for 1 second in one frame.
Because it's not his movie or his story. However, it canonically proves that Peter is still Spider-Man in his universe after the events of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And this movie came out before Marvel's Spider-Man 2 came out, and that same game established that Peter doesn't know who Miguel is, which means that it was locked in before the release of the game that Peter wasn't quitting.
Bro, he's not replacing him though. He shows up for 1 second. What a fucking idiot.
Yes, he shows up for 1 second in a movie that's not about him or his character.
Wow, you sure showed me.
Parker, and they hate Peter Parker's fans.
How does the writers hating Peter Parker have anything to
Because they replaced him with the Black Spider-Man.
He didn't get replaced, as you're failing to comprehend. Do with Black Cat. Is it just because she's bi? Because we've established earlier that you apparently have a problem with that.
Well, no shit.
Yeah, and he hasn't made a valid argument for why that's a problem. And the same goes for you.
All the self-insert nerd people who Spider-Man was literally made for. That's why he's one of the most popular superhero characters ever since his creation, is because he is the perfect self-insert for the nerds who are reading comic books.
Peter Parker is not a self-insert of people reading comics. He just has relatable problems to the average person.
So the people who are reading it are inserting themselves as Peter Parker.
That doesn't make it a self-insert character. If it does, then any character that an audience can relate to must be a self-insert character. That's not how that works. Those two are not the same.
And so Peter Parker's life is shit, man. So many bad things happen to him. It is a running trope across all of his comic book series. And so what did they do? They gave him a supermodel girlfriend so that he has one thing in his life, one good thing to keep him going so he doesn't just
Yeah, you can't even have that.
blow his fucking brains out.
If you seriously think this about Peter Parker, then you're just as shallow as your interpretation of him. You're unironically arguing that he has nothing going on for his life outside of MJ?
Not even Aunt May? Those weren't my thoughts.
And what?
Yep, you know what I'm gonna say. Yet again, another point of mine that doesn't get addressed despite claiming that I didn't debunk anything.
They do in the games, they take that away from him by making her a fucking 50-year-old man-jawed and although Black Cat is still somewhat attractive, in the comics she was a fucking bombshell, dude. Easily one of the most attractive characters, just like, you know, Catwoman, who she's blatantly a ripoff of.
Is this all you care about? Seriously, this is the equivalent.
No, but this is how he's describing the propaganda, you idiot. Which you keep saying, oh, you don't go into any information or any detail. Then he does. Then he's like, oh, but you're not actually like. He's so retarded that he needs to put up this stupid Spider-Man meme at the corner of the screen.
And you're so stupid that you actually think this character isn't attractive enough for me is evidence of propaganda. Of people who watch
So yes, he is that lazy, he is that retarded, and he is that stupid.
Movies just to see things explode, which is fine as a casual viewer, but you're reviewing a fucking game here.
And so, you know what? This isn't just a slight against Peter Parker.
Another point of mine that doesn't get addressed, yada yada yada.
They tried to make him just Peter Parker, but with black skin, but he's actually worse than that. He's a fucking whiny nerd bitch.
If all you can do is throw insults at a character without providing substantive criticism, I think it's safe to dismiss.
Dismiss it how? He said he whines.
Yeah, and that's not a complete criticism. Where does he whine? Why is it unjustified in the story? He doesn't do any of that. He just throws labels.
Is that really an insult? I mean, I guess it kind of is, but I mean, that's also a description, like.
And you need to elaborate by showing clips from the game and explaining why they're done badly. Your statements. Why put effort in a response when you never put effort into the original points?
As Peter discovers,
well, it's not agenda because he's a leftist, and when you push left-wing politics in video games, it's not propaganda because he is a libtard, so it do be like that.
So in response to me highlighting how his criticism wasn't made with proper effort or elaboration, your response is, well, you're a libtard. That's just fucking laughable. What a sad counterpoint.
It's a location of where Kraven's goons are hanging out, having a party, and we get to see yet another huge woke moment.
It's a huge woke moment that a hunter was more skilled than another, because women can never be more skilled in anything.
We're not talking about skill, we're talking about like actually fighting.
Fighting is a skill. Do you know that?
I mean, I guess is a skill.
Never be more skilled in anything. Okay, so you acknowledge how stupid that point is. Good job.
Everyone just thinks this is.
I mean, like, he literally weighs twice as much as she does. Like, realistically, she's not gonna be able to kick his ass.
So we went from fighting isn't a skill, to fighting is a skill, to saying she can't win anyway because of the differences in weight. Did you forget that you still need a better strategy to win a fight? If someone outsmarts you, it doesn't matter how much you weigh, you're losing the fight.
This is okay, this is fine. This totally means nothing. Your lying eyes, your pattern recognition, that's just schizo shit.
What pattern recognition is there?
All the gay shit.
That's not even what's being talked about right now. He's talking about the hunters. People are more skilled than others. That's the
Well, women aren't.
So women are impossible to train in any fighting style? You got any proof of that?
Not propaganda because I agree with it, exactly.
No, that doesn't even resemble a statement in my video. It's not propaganda because it's not misleading or harmful. It's on you to prove either of those, and you failed every time. I can swing it right back at you and say that all you've said is that it's propaganda because I don't agree with it. Except in this case, it's kinda true since you don't actually elaborate or prove any of your points. I'm sorry if that offends you, but that's the way things are.
I was seriously disgusted when I saw this.
Well, I'm very sorry that offends you.
Now here we have the first major moment of the story that legitimately pissed me off. Despite
I love how he's like, oh, I'm sorry, that offends you, when this entire video is about him being offended over his video, Synthetic Man's video.
No, it's about me proving its logical failings. I understand that may be offensive to you, and I'm very sorry that offends you, but don't project your side's hurt feelings onto someone who simply told you a truth that you didn't like.
Bro, this entire video is literally you being offended over Synthetic Man.
No, I loved making this video, because Synthetic Man's review is so hilariously bad.
Losing to Kraven in a 1v1 fight. Miles is able to defeat Peter with the symbiote suit on. And I just know there's going to be people making excuses for this, saying that, well, Miles' bioelectricity abilities are more effective on the symbiote, and he also could ring the bell in the arena. Well, first of all, it's fucking stupid that his electricity is good against everything in this game. Yeah, not a single enemy resists his powers in any way. In fact, most of the time it's the opposite. And while the Bell argument is fine, I still don't think it should have been enough.
So he goes on a whole tangent about how bad it is that Miles wins this fight, then proceeds to say that the Bell argument is fine, even though sound is established to be his primary weakness in the game. Thank you for wasting everybody's time.
And they have a conversation on a nearby rooftop.
Oh look, another counterpoint that's being conveniently ignored and not responded to, despite claiming that I haven't debunked anything.
Which is the beginning of Peter's various groveling, apologizing moments that you're gonna get for the rest of the story. None of this was his fault. Venom was manipulating his mind.
Okay, but he still did those things and would feel guilty about it as a result. He doesn't have to be completely in control to feel sorry about what his actions have caused. Also, he's not an outright puppet in this game. They established that it plays on his desires. So it's not like he was just being mind-controlled, rather his brain function was being hindered. There's still a degree of responsibility you have for your actions, which is something he acknowledges later, and we'll get into that.
Now we get to arguably the worst part of the entire game.
No response to that either. Wonderful.
Mary Jane gets infected with the symbiote, and she turns into Scream, who actually is the symbiote from the comics, and we get the most blatant, transparent, feminist rant I think I've ever heard in a video game. I'm just gonna play some clips from the boss battle and you could judge for yourself.
Done begging for validation from you, from anyone. Validation? If this is about your job, it's about me. Nay! Not my job, stupid house.
Typical woman. Me.
It's almost as if the point is that she's wrong here.
Sorry. It wasn't you.
Bro, just leave her.
And
like I promise you can find a better woman. Like I promise.
I wasn't me earlier.
I don't know how you thought this of all things was a gotcha against what the game was telling its players. Doesn't address the clip I showed either.
Man, I got nothing more to say here that I didn't already say during the stream. This was painfully bad. Mary Jane is obviously the self-insert of the lead writer for this game, and this rant must be directed toward her ex-boyfriends or some shit.
Well, earlier we've established that you didn't even check.
Bro, you didn't establish shit.
I did, by showing the actual face model going to the studio for the modeling, and showing evidence that the writing intern was not the lead writer, who the lead writer was. So we'll take that with a grain of salt, and the game literally has Peter say that this wasn't her, as if this was a bad thing. So why is this your example of the writer self-inserting?
Yeah, it just coincidentally looks like exactly like the lead writer.
Looking similar doesn't equal looking the same, but whatever. To send propaganda to people.
Because this is some of the most out-of-touch, narcissistic bullshit I think I've heard in any piece of entertainment.
Which is why this was said under the symbiote. Are you slow?
It reads like a parody. And before anybody says that, oh, that's the point because she's got a symbiote on her, so that's not really what she thinks. No, the symbiote is enhancing what she already felt.
So Peter shouldn't apologize because he was mind-controlled, but MJ is at fault because the symbiote plays on how you actually feel and amplifies it.
Which proves that she's a feminist.
No, this proves that Synthetic Man has inconsistent standards for complaining that Peter has to apologize for how he was in the suit by claiming he was mind-controlled, then proceeds to act as if everything Scream said is a reflection of MJ. At most, the symbiote twisted MJ's feeling of inadequacy, which isn't resentful towards Peter, but it was changed so it is resentful when it took over. The same is true regarding Peter, but for the fear of losing his loved ones. But seeing how you refuse to address how this proves Synthetic Man's inconsistent standards, I don't expect you to have an honest takeaway.
Thank you for confirming everything Synthetic Man just said was true.
Thank you for confirming that you have the literacy of a pissant. Contradiction here. And sure, you can say it's out of character for MJ to feel invalidated by Peter, given her arc in the last game, but this isn't a level of detail you go into, because your review is lazy.
And that's why Peter is constantly—
And this video isn't lazy?
No, because I actually explain and prove my points. And I don't go and claim that he didn't have any good points. It'd be one thing if I glossed over his good points, but I was transparent on the fact fact that I did think some of what he said held up, but for obvious pacing reasons, I didn't see it as necessary to play each and every instance of me agreeing with him just so I can say that I agree over and over and move on. You, however, claimed that I didn't debunk anything, yet we've had so many instances of you ignoring entire points that I made that directly and entirely refute something he says. You are absolutely dishonest and lazy.
Bro, this video is literally, like, there's no editing in this shit.
Meanwhile, your editing is just pausing my video, moving the cursor around, and throwing text here and there.
But the worst part of this mission comes right at the very end, as despite Peter now having a real reason to contribute, something that makes him stand out from Miles, since Miles is pretty much just him but better, he says this.
Why would the city need me when it has you?
Yeah, they're not trying to replace Peter Parker though, remember.
Meanwhile, the game doesn't replace him. Now to be clear, I don't like this line because they're in a situation where the city clearly needs both of them. However, I understand the intent that Miles is evolving as a hero rather than trying to replace Peter Parker. If that was true, it would have been done already.
Now all of you can stop coping, seething, and dilating, claiming that Marvel's not trying to replace Peter Parker since he's a straight white male. Insomniac just straight up told you that Miles should replace Peter.
The game doesn't say that Miles should replace Peter. The game is saying that
they just plant it in your head. Yeah, they don't outright say it, but they just
didn't say the thing that I accused them of saying.
You know, plant it directly into your mind.
Miles can look over the city on his own. The end of the game doesn't have Miles replacing Peter because Peter doesn't end up quitting.
Yeah, they didn't do that because they knew there would be backlash.
So they did try to replace Peter, but also they didn't because of backlash? Which is it?
Which would justify his existence in this plot.
Peter is still the one who uses his anti-venom powers to free Harry in the end. So where's this game?
That is the most ugliest costume right there. Holy shit.
Peter is still the one who uses his anti-venom powers to free Harry in the end.
Why does he have his stupid hair showing?
This is another case where my counterpoint gets ignored, yada yada yada.
This is the writers saying fuck you to the audience and that they hate Spider-Man.
That's purely speculation at best.
It's not speculation, it's facts.
Then you should be able to show this, which you don't. Is it possible that a lot of the writing mistakes—
Man, you can't tell somebody's black by their hair, man, shit.
For Peter, specifically regarding his nerfing, was done out of a slight or subconscious disregard for Peter as a character? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The point is that this is speculative, so I don't know why you're so adamant on this being a fact.
People who hate Spider-Man—
Another counterpoint that gets glossed over, yada yada yada—
were put in charge of writing a Spider-Man story. You know, kind of just like comic books over the past, 15 years. But Sony fans are fucking idiots. They'll eat this slop up, they don't care, because they hate themselves. They are the soy boy beta male Redditors who hate themselves.
Here's an idea, Synthetic Man. Why don't you start going into further detail when making criticisms and actually present them with a modicum of constructiveness or impulse control? Because anybody that's a fan of this game's story is not going to listen to you screeching like this over what they enjoy. Now, this isn't to say that you're incapable of making good points. I didn't play them because I would just be agreeing with what he said, but he does make some good points regarding the gameplay or the writing. But a lot of it is drowned out by bad faith or purely rage-driven—
Bro, bad faith, this entire video is built on fucking dishonesty and fucking you being a disingenuous fuck. What are you talking about?
Your video is literally titled Disingenuous Soy Boy Spider Cuck Fanboy Triggered by Synthetic Man's Video, with a description explicitly accusing me of being a Spider-Man 2 fanboy. Meanwhile, I've made my stance clear that I think the game's story is bad, and even showed a video I made discussing why. It's you who's dishonest here. This is all just projection and cope. Criticism, while displaying a misunderstanding—
Every time he brings up something woke, you're like, oh, bro, what's woke about that, bro? That's not propaganda. You know, two gay guys kissing, that's not propaganda.
Because it's not, and you haven't made a single good point for why in this entire video.
You know, a deaf girl who fucking communicates in emojis, that's not propaganda.
Tell me the propaganda then. What's misleading? What message is it sending?
You know, how the game has 500 black women in it who are all bald.
So bald black women is propaganda? That's the best you got?
Peter finally purges Venom from Harry's body.
Oh, but I thought you claimed he was made to be useless earlier.
And then we get yet another fucking terrible scene.
Won't address that either?
Where Peter takes a break from being Spider-Man to be Peter Parker. Now, some people have interpreted this as him retiring and Miles taking up the mantle, but you and me both know that Spider-Man 3 would fucking bomb, much like Miles Morales did, if Miles was now permanently Spider-Man. So of course Peter's gonna come out of retirement in the next one.
Yeah, we know this because Peter never said he was quitting.
And then
Yeah, we know it would bomb because nobody wants to play as Miles.
That doesn't refute the point that he was never quitting in the first place.
do I need to remind you where you play as Miles' deaf girlfriend?
I don't care that she's deaf.
Do I need to remind
Well, you still have to play as her.
We know this, Genius. I'm not disputing or defending that. I'm pointing out that it doesn't matter if she's deaf or not when it comes to the claim that it's propaganda.
You could have easily cut him out of this game and just had Peter team up with Mr. Negative, or maybe exploit Venom's weakness to Sonic, or, you know, bring back his comic book weakness to fire.
Your idea is even worse than what the game did. Miles was a crucial character in Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales, so removing him from the game is ignoring the setups from the previous games. That is actually bad storytelling. Why would Peter's main ally be Mr. Negative? He needs to be reformed first, and you can't just leave him reformed from the start, because that would be a rushed redemption for him. Miles makes the most sense as Peter's main ally in the game. Another counterpoint that doesn't get addressed.
Maybe have Human Torch, because he's actually friends with Human Torch in the comics.
The Human Torch barely has a presence in these games. Why would he be a better fit than Miles?
Because they could have literally just wrote him into the game. What are you talking about?
Which would be shoehorning him in. Why would you write a character just so you don't have to work with an already established and set up character? You don't realize how contrived that is?
And they clearly care more about pushing their progressive politics than they do about telling a good story.
And I can just as easily say that you're more interested in pushing your non-progressive politics instead of making a good review.
No, we just want them out of the fucking games.
And none of the arguments for why have held up.
Again, just stating thing, not stating why they are good.
I believe in innocent until proven guilty. If you're claiming something is a flaw, the burden of proof falls on you.
Human Torch is canonically Spider-Man's best superhero buddy. Well, that doesn't make sense to this guy over here.
It doesn't, because that's not established in the Insomniac universe, and to shoehorn him in while sidestepping Miles would be blatantly contrived. It sucks that a lot of Marvel Spider-Man 2 criticism just gets dismissed straight away because of goofballs like Synthetic Man who latch onto nonsensical—
Did this guy really just say goofballs unironically?
Yeah, because it applies to people like you. Reaches to call things woke propaganda and get overly offended over blatant non-issues, and because nonsense like this hits the algorithm, plenty of valid criticism that can be made for the game ends up getting drowned out by this political brain rot.
Yeah, by one video, definitely.
I'm not just talking about this one video, I'm talking about people who engage in these nonsensical talking points.
Sony's fucking dead to me now. I look forward to putting this on the worst games of 2023. Not because it's objectively as bad as Forspoken or Gollum or Immortals of Avium, but because I despise this game much like I despise Starfield. So that's about it. See you next time, guys.
So earlier he said the gameplay is good, and here he admits that he isn't saying the game is one of the worst for reasons rooted in unbiased assessment. He's saying this because the game offended him. Well, I'm very sorry that it offends you, but we—
Motherfucker, this entire video is you being offended. That's why you made this video.
Meanwhile, Synthetic Man admits that he's literally angry at this game and gives some of the dumbest reasons imaginable.
Oh my fucking god.
Does that guy really have a nose ring?
Okay, I'll give you credit here. Eric July has some funny reactions, so this was a neat way to end off the video. Honestly, it's the best part of this video, what am I saying? By now, I think it's self-evident that this video is clearly dishonest. It falsely claims that I'm a Spider-Man 2 fanboy when I've criticized the story in my own video, talking about how bad it is. I don't defend Spider-Man media just because it's Spider-Man, I defend it when I believe the criticism can be refuted. And all this dishonest video has really done was reaffirm why Synthetic Man's review doesn't hold up. But that's all I've got to say for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you want more of these videos, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.